This is just straight up ridiculous. Look what Ninja Kiwi did to the DDTs. They're too powerful. They're just way too freaking strong. How are we supposed to pop these things? Well, first of all, let me let you guys know that we are currently on round 400, and DDTs didn't technically get buffed. But what has happened is that all towers that used to be able to hit DDTs automatically are slowly losing their ability, and the towers that can hit DDTs are getting more expensive. So in turn, DDTs are getting buffed by nerfing everything else. We're talking about the tax zone used to have lead popping power automatically. The Elite Defender and the 4th tier used to have lead popping power automatically. The aircraft carrier and flagship carrier, well, the flagship carrier used to have lead popping power. No longer does he get it automatically, and now you have to pick between the lead popping power or the camo detection, and you can't have both at the same time because they're different cross paths. And that's not all. Possibly the biggest slap in our face right now is gotta be the Super Maelstrom. Super Maelstrom, it was good in races. It was good in races, but in every other situation, it was just kind of like, meh. It was C tier, man. Maybe even D tier, depending on how you're looking at things. So, what's the deal with all of a sudden making it so now even the Super Maelstrom, which used to have not having camo detection, but had lead popping power, not be able to hit DDTs, bro? It's just absurd. So DDTs always come out in 3s, so instead of a top 5, we're going to do a top 6, and the first tower we got to talk about is the Crossbow Master. First of all, he's got automatic camo detection, automatic lead popping power, which is pretty sweet. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to set out round 90. Now, keep in mind, this guy's fairly cheap. All right, that's the main thing about him is he doesn't cost a lot of money. He can do crit shots, which means if we put him in the right spot here, he can pop DDTs and all of their innards fairly easily. It does mean that you have to position him properly, and it does mean that he's not going to be super duper effective in the long term, and that's why he's still coming at number 6 here. It's nice to have someone that's automatically going to pop stuff, but knowing that he's not going to, pop everything in existence definitely does limit him quite a bit. Next up, we have Icicle Impale, which is a very, very awesome DDT slowdown stopper thingamajig, but you have to understand how this guy works before we even get going with him. So first of all, if you send out a Moab class balloon, you're going to notice that we stall it to an exact speed here. It might not look like that, but it'll make sense if I send out around 300 Moabs. You can see when it's super duper quick, slow it down to the exact same speed. It's not a percentage thing, it's an exact, I don't even know what it is, like 5 pixels per second or whatever. It's the exact right speed every single time. So when this pops up into DDT territory, it's the exact same thing. The faster the DDT, doesn't matter, dude. As long as we can hit it, it's going to slow it down to that speed and allow all of our other towers to really get going and pop this guy. But he's got a weakness. You need to go top path upgrades, otherwise he's basically useless. So when we get a nice tower here that has the middle path, even if we gave him camo detection here, we can't hit DDTs at all. So let's send out a round 100 DDT. You're going to see we can't hit them at all. It like tries to hit them, and it just doesn't do any damage. We have to go all the way up to a MIB to officially allow ourselves as an Icicle Impale to hit this guy. Unless you go for the top path upgrade, which of course limits us in quite a bit of ways. The other reason why he's still kind of lower on a list, even though he does do a lot, is that he does not do a great job against big chunks of balloons. So round 99, for example, Moabs kind of are going to get in the way here. Ceramics are going to get in the way. DDTs are going to slow down quite a bit, but if we don't have a lot of other support towers here, he's not going to be all powerful, not going to be able to stall them all, and not going to be able to kill them all. So for the price, he's decent, but you got to have the right towers in addition. Oh my god, creator support code, SJP, sounds fantastic. Next up, we've got the Pod. So the Pod is an interesting tower in that he sends out all of these zombie balloons against our other balloon opponents. And what you need to do is you need to make sure you have a graveyard. If you have a high graveyard, by popping balloons inside of his radius, he will continually make stronger and stronger balloons and kill pretty much everything. He doesn't really have a direct weakness. He doesn't have a camo weakness or a purple weakness or anything. And in addition, he can even decamo the DDTs, allowing your other towers to end up popping them even better. The only real weakness here is if you do have a big chunk of balloons coming in against you in addition. For example, on round 95, sometimes the Moabs will actually get so powerful or so tanky, they will actually start to sneak through your defense, absorbing all of this pod damage. And, yeah, it can eventually let balloons sneak through. In addition, he's not quite as good against the reinforced DDTs. Just because they're a little tankier, they can sometimes end up sneaking through your defense without actually allowing you to do that. So he's got a lot of bonuses, but he's not all powerful. But Pod's still a very good tower all around, and of course, really good against DDTs. Some people might make fun of me for having this guy on my list at all, but check him out before you hate on me. We're talking about Permacharge. So Permacharge with Red Hot Rings, of course, and he does need cam protection. So we do need to take a couple steps to make this happen, but check this out. This is round 90. These are DDTs, and we are able to easily take them down without our ability. Check this out. We're going to send out a whopping 20 DDTs here. Let's not do Reinforce. 20 DDTs. We're going to use our ability here, and you can see 20 DDTs all at once. We can take them down with a single ability and all the balloons on the inside as well. That's just kind of absurd. The only real weakness here is obviously you have to make sure you have your ability ready to go. You have to actually use it, and use it at the right time. So don't waste it. Don't squander it right before you have a DDT round coming out. In addition, guess what? Reinforced DDTs? Not actually that big of a deal. So just kind of check them out here. Let's reset our abilities. We're going to send out round 99, which is, again, a fairly beefy round. We got a bunch of Moabs. We got a reinforced DDTs kind of all over the place here. And we're not going to solo everything, but we're going to do a ton of damage against these DDTs. In fact, killing almost all of the DDTs and a bunch of the Moabs as well. One of the toughest rounds in the game, Permacharge is still a good tower, especially for the price. If there's a tower that should not be on this list, it should be the Balloon Solver. He shouldn't be here. He should not be good against DDTs, but check this out. If you have a longer map, all right, any longer map in the game, intermediates, beginners and intermediates especially, the Balloon Solver has enough time to pop DDTs in their entirety down to nothing. All right, you do need to make sure you give him the cam detection because he doesn't have that automatically. But even against the tougher rounds like round 95, one of the toughest rounds in the game, again, I think we're going to be able to pop, if not all of the balloons, like 95% of them. And to me, for the measly $30,000 or so that we've spent on the Balloon Solver, that's just kind of absurd. Like, seriously, kind of absurd. Yeah, so we a couple DDTs are going to sneak through here, but it's not that bad. And again, don't forget that this is not with any of the additional buffs that we can easily go for. Yeah, look at this. We're actually getting better over time, which just feels wrong of the Balloon Solver, dude. And not only is he good against the DDTs, but he's good against all the other balloons you're going to be playing against as well, so you don't need to waste your money on something. It is extremely hard to argue against a Carpet of Spikes. He just is the #1 DDT popper. Now, don't forget, he got nerfed in just this update right now, so he's going to be worse against the DDTs and worse against Moabs in general. But that does not mean he is a bad tower whatsoever. He's still a very, very solid tower to use. Not only does he just automatically spray a bunch of spikes all over the place, he pops balloons, he pops Moabs, he pops ceramics pretty well, and then whenever you end up running into any issues, guess what you do? You just throw down a quick ability here, and you're going to end up just exploding all over the place and killing pretty much everything. Of course, if you power him up with Alchemists and Overclocks, you can make him even more powerful, but still, even with all of this nonsense right here, he is not all-powerful, or is he? He's going to take down round 95. No, almost taking down round 95 by himself here. But you do need to support him with something that's going to pop the ceramics and the balloons on the inside as well. He can't do everything by himself, even though he almost can. Even more crazy than that, though, is round 99 and 100. Two of the toughest rounds in the game. Don't forget about that. This is exactly what that guy is designed to do. He's designed to pop the reinforced DDTs. He's designed to pop the bad balloon, and that's exactly what he's good against. So some of the toughest rounds in the game become easy with the Carpet of Spikes. If you guys enjoyed this really quick and easy video, make sure you press that like button for me. Make sure you subscribe, and of course, have a super duper delicious day.